In his amazing book, John Maxwell says, good thinkers are always in demand, and the person who knows how will always have a job, but the person who knows why will always be his boss. And I found this very true in any job setting and life in general. A perfect example is a story of two brothers who became millionaires. One brother did it through winning the lottery, whilst the other did it through the business he articulated and built himself over time. Now, if we were to take away both of their earnings, the lottery-winning millionaire brother would still be broke, and the self-made millionaire brother could probably make it right back. Which just goes to show that the difference between a successful person and the average person isn't what they own, but how they think. A similar example to this is my recent job. Both my friend and I applied for positions at a used car lot. We were both presented with two jobs, one being salesman and the other being head of finance. I decided to go ahead and do the sales job because it seemed easier, and I figured that I had already had people skills, and that if I can sell myself in a resume format, I'm sure I can sell these cars to these people very easily. This job also had less paperwork and required little to no training. My friend, on the other hand, took the finance job, which required more training and more precise thinking. So at the end of the day, the most I can make on a car is commission of $300. So I figured if I hustled hard enough and sold 2 to 3 cars a day, I could make up to $900, which to me seemed enough. My friend, on the other hand, who's usually a strategic thinker, became in charge of finance and knew the whole financing process behind buying a car and is able to see how much and for how long the customer is going to be paying for the car while having it in their possession, which gives him the ability to alter how much he can make from that same very customer, as opposed to me with a set number of $300. Taking the high road and being a good thinker will present you with better opportunities that, if you act on them, can give you profitable returns in wealth and knowledge. In this video, I'm going to give you 6 effective tips from John Maxwell's book, How Smart People Think, that will help you become a better thinker today. Step 1. Expose yourself to good input. John states in his book, good thinkers always prime the pump of ideas. They always look for things to get the thinking process started, because what you put in always impacts what comes out. So you want to read books, invest in your professors and mentors, spend time with good thinkers, and when something intriguing that aligns with your purpose pops up in front of you, whether it's an idea for making a YouTube video or a speech you have to give in front of your boss and colleagues in a meeting at work, you want to keep it in front of you so you won't forget. Put it in writing and keep it somewhere in your favorite thinking place. I found that buying a white dry erase board and writing all my important inputs and ideas right in front of me where I sit down and do most of my studying helps me out. Tip number 2, surround yourself with good thinkers. Spending time with the right people is very important to becoming a good thinker. You want to spend time with people who are always challenging themselves and the people around them. A lot of people hang around company that lack ambition and have no motivation to better themselves, and in return they start to pick up these habits unconsciously. There is a famous quote that I remember growing up which goes, "Tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are," which is very true. Our friends and the people we hang around have a huge influence on us. John also mentions in his book about himself, which I really admired, he says, quote, "As I worked on this and bounced my ideas off some key people so that my thoughts can be stretched, I realized something about myself. All my friends who I considered to be close friends or colleagues are thinkers. I try to be kind to everyone I meet and desire to add value to as many people as I can through conferences, books, and audio lessons. But the people I seek out or choose to spend time with all challenge me with their actions and thinking. They are constantly trying to grow and learn. That's true of my wife Margaret, my close friends, and the executives who run this company. Every one of them is a good thinker." End quote. John also mentions this really nice quote that I really like. He goes, "Sharp people sharpen one another, just as iron sharpens iron. So if you want to be a sharp thinker, be around sharp people." Tip number 3, expose yourself to think good thoughts. John tells us a story about how he met up and had breakfast with Dan Cathy, the president of Chick-fil-A, a famous fast food chain. He tells us that Dan told him, "To become a better thinker, you must become intentional about it." And he told me about what he calls his thinking schedule. He says that it helps him fight the hectic pace of life that discourages intentional thinking. Dan says that he sets time aside just to think, for half a day every 2 weeks, 1 whole day every month, and for 2 to 3 full days a year. Dan explains, "This helps me keep the main thing, since I am easily distracted." So you may want to do something similar to this by developing a schedule and a method of your own. You should find when you're best able to think. If you're like me, I think best in the morning when I'm fully rested and ready to take on my day. No matter what you decide to do, go to your favorite thinking place, take a pen and paper, and make sure you capture your ideas in writing. Tip 4. Act on good thoughts. Ideas have a short life. You must act on them before their expiration date. World War I general said it best when he remarked, "I can give you a 6-word formula for success. Think things through, then follow through." In a growing society, there are many opportunities that spring from amazing ideas. However, times and circumstances change, and a good idea or opportunity that is of value and available today will be nothing but merely another idea with no value tomorrow. And you can see this a lot in social media, where they have these trends that happen, and the people that realize them early on and act on them end up making a name for themselves and making a whole lot of money. Or when the Lyft ride-sharing company first started and drivers acted on the idea of signing up and driving, they were averaging between $40 to $100 an hour. That following year, word got around, more drivers started signing up, and the average dropped down to $25 an hour. By the way, if you want $50 in free Lyft rides, check the link in the bio. Tip 5. Allow your emotions to create another good thought. To start the thinking process, you cannot rely on your feelings. In his book, Failing Forward, John wrote that you can act your way into feeling long before you can feel your way into action. If you wait until you feel like doing something, you will likely never accomplish it. The same is true for thinkers. You cannot wait until you feel like thinking to do it. However, I found that once you engage in the process of good thinking, you can use your emotions to feed the process and create a mental momentum. An example for me is the satisfying feeling I get when someone tells me I add value into their life whenever I'm in their presence. I use the same exact emotion to create beneficial content to add value in more people's lives. And this is the main reason why I made this YouTube channel. I plan on putting out a lot of beneficial content like this one in hopes it gets shared around and adds value to other people's lives. And in return, I can make great friends, which is you guys, the viewers, and hopefully in the long run make money doing it. This is what it means to allow your emotions to create another good thought. Tip 6. Repeat the process. One good thought does not make a good life. The people who have one good thought and try to ride it for an entire career often end up unhappy and unsatisfied. They are the one-hit wonders, the one-book authors, the one-message speakers, the one-time investors who spent their whole life struggling to protect or promote their single idea. Success comes to those who have an entire mountain of gold that they continually mine, not those who find someone who can mine a lot of gold. You need to keep repeating the process of good thinking. Many great ideas spring from one good thought, so it's important to always look for new ideas and new strategies, and never settling for what is. Repeating the process in hopes to finding a better. Alright everyone, those are 6 tips from John C. Maxwell's book, How Smart People Think. If this video added any value to your life, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. And for more beneficial videos every day, go ahead and subscribe to Everyday Life Skills. Until next time.